Chase and Justin and JK that are legitimately being talked about for the Heisman Trophy. I know you even got asked on Fox after the game about Chase. Do you relish that, enjoy that? You got 3 guys in that. Is there a part of you that's like, because, you know, like Coach Meyer a lot of times would be like, boy, it's too much too soon to talk about that. I don't know, having guys like that that are in the conversation right now, how do you embrace that? What is your take?
Yeah, no, I think when you're at Ohio State, this is what the norm should be, and it always has been, and it, you know, hopefully always will be. And that you come to Ohio State and you're a tailback, you're a quarterback. I mean, you should be in the Heisman Trophy conversation. Now for Chase, that's a different deal, and he's obviously a special player, and hats off to him to even be brought up in something like this. But I think if you ask those guys, they'll tell you that they're not worried about individual accolades at all. It's all about, you know, a singular goal, and that's winning championships. And if we do, then I think there's going to be a lot of those things to go around, because that wasn't one of our goals. You know, I don't think you'd ask J.K. Dobbins or Justin or even Chase, say, what was your goal at the end of the season to win the Heisman? No, that would not have been their answer. I'd be shocked if it was. And so if we just continue to do well and continue on the path we're on, you know, there's going to be a lot to go around, and a lot of accolades and awards and things like that. But that's not what it comes down to. This is about the team, and I think one of the things that is good is we talked about big time players playing well in big time games, and I thought our big time players did step up in the game, which was great to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion too about who's number 1 right now. Do you care at this stage? Like the AP voting is as close as it's ever been. You got the playoff poll coming out in about a week. What is your take on where you are, and is being number 1 important?
It will be at the end of the season, but right now, I mean, if you're number 1 right now and you lose next week, you're not number 1 anymore. So it doesn't. I mean, that's for everybody else to talk about. It has nothing to do with us right now. It doesn't mean anything. You don't get anything for being number 1, 2, or 3 at this point of the year. You get it for the end of the season. So, you know, I know that people like to talk about it, and that's great. That's good. That's great for college football, but it has nothing to do with us.
Right behind Lori.
How would you describe the leadership style of Chase Young and J.K. Dobbins? Because as great as leaders that they've been, they don't seem like they can always fit the traditional mold of a leader.
Yeah, and I try not to, when I talk to the guys about leadership, it's never about fitting a style, because I think everybody finds their own voice and everybody has their own leadership style, and I think that's the art of being a leader is being authentic and being yourself. And I think those guys have found their voice. It's taken them 3 years to find that voice, but it's great. I think in today's day and age of the internet, being on your phones and that type of stuff with this generation, stepping out in front of a team is a little frightening for you know, again, 19, 20-year-old kids. And so these guys have stepped up, and they put themselves out there. They have the courage to do it, and they're backing it up with their play. And I think it's great for a lot of guys to see, but there's been a precedent set. I mean, you know, Terry McLaurin comes back and speaks to our team Friday night before the game, and the culture he left and the legacy he left behind was special. And I think there's guys on our team who want to leave a legacy. They don't just want to leave a bunch of stats behind. They want to leave a legacy. When they walk out the door, they're still talking about these guys down the road. How do you do that with leadership, with getting out in front and talking and making sure that you're leaving an impact?
So how would you describe Chase Young's voice and J.K. Dobbins'
You know, Chase is very intense. You know, he's very confident in what he does, and you know, if he sees something, he's going to call it out. I think he's a strong leader. J.K., you know, is kind of the same way, but he's a little bit more by example. But when it gets closer to the game, you start to feel him and hear him in the locker room, and you know, they both are very intense, especially as it gets closer to the game.
Down in front right, Tim.
Yeah, Ryan, when you look at Justin Hilliard and the path he's taken, how crazy is it now that he is like basically a contributor big time? And how tough has that path been from what you, because you've been watching now for 3 years, but what is he bringing to the fore now? And is that an example of a bonus that this team is getting from some of the upperclassmen?
Yeah, I think Justin Hilliard is the story of him playing the way he played and being able to step up in a game like that and help us is a story that, you know, really isn't being told for whatever reason. But this is, like you said, a guy with today's day and age, with everything going on with portals and everything else, he stuck through it. He worked through injuries, he worked through playing time issues, and then he steps up in a huge moment for us, you know, to beat Wisconsin, and plays really well, makes some big time tackles, and that goes to show you what kind of a kid Justin Hilliard is. I mean, he's got character, he's got perseverance, you know, everything about him is great. And you know, he's helped us on special teams for years, but now he's able to step up into that role and make those kind of plays for the team. but that's a guy who's leaving the legacy behind, and that's about hard work and working through tough times. And we're just really happy to have him part of this team.
And one of the quick things, you watched the game, of course, but Devon Hamilton, Wisconsin had reputedly maybe the best center in college football, some people said. Devon Hamilton seemed to have a game Saturday, so did Ja'Shawn Cornell. What has Devon Hamilton really brought to the fore here this season?
He started in the offseason. I thought he had one of the best off seasons of anybody in the program. He really took a step in this offseason in the weight room with Coach Jay, just in general. You could see him coming. He started to get a voice. I mean, he's been in front of the team, and that's not easy for Devon. But I'm really proud of the way he's playing. I mean, he's strong in there. You can see the first play of the game, he's knocking the guys back, and he was really powerful in there. And that's a huge deal, especially against a team like that. But this is a guy, he's a veteran guy now, who's a huge part of our defense.
Right next door, Austin.